Welcome back to the show. Today, we are diving into a topic that usually starts a fight in the comments section: independent brokerages versus the big brands.
Oh boy, grab the popcorn. Is this going to be a battle royale?
Surprisingly, no. The article we're looking at today from Inman actually argues that it's not a cage match. It's not about who's better. It's about understanding that both models bring totally different value to the table.
That's refreshing. So no winners and losers today? Just different flavors of real estate?
Exactly. Big brands have scale, resources, and recognition. But indies, they have something that's really hard to manufacture at scale: agility and authenticity.
It's the classic speedboat versus the cruise ship scenario. The cruise ship has a buffet, but the speedboat can turn on a dime.
Right. And for agents today, that personal connection is becoming a huge selling point. It's not necessarily better, but for the right agent, it feels a lot more like home.
You know, for the longest time, I feel like agents thought if I just have that famous logo on my business card, I've made it.
Totally. It was seen as the shortcut to credibility. But the market is shifting. Agents are getting smarter. They're realizing that a logo doesn't return your phone calls at 9 p.m. on a Sunday.
Oof, true. They want support, not just a franchise fee. It's less about who are you with and more about who is with you.
And that leads to what the author calls the indie superpower: speed.
Speed kills, right?
In this case, it builds. When you're an indie, you aren't navigating 10 layers of corporate policy to get an answer. You're building side by side with your leadership.
That's huge. If I have a problem, I don't want to submit a ticket. I want to walk into the broker's office and fix it. That responsiveness is a major recruiting tool.
Speaking of walking into the office, there's this great story in the piece about culture. And spoiler alert, culture isn't a motivational poster on the wall.
Thank goodness. Teamwork makes the dream work posters don't sell houses.
Exactly. The author mentions an indie broker who transformed her whole office just by moving her desk out of the private office and into the bullpen.
No way. Right in the mix?
Right in the mix. Production went up, morale shifted, all because leadership was physically present. That's the indie advantage.
That makes sense. It feels more personal, which brings up another point the article made: the origin story.
Yes, most franchises can't replicate this. Indies usually start because someone believed there was a better way to do things. They weren't just trying to hang a logo. They had a mission.
And stories recruit better than slogans. People want to be part of a mission. They want to know why you exist, not just that you exist.
Okay, but here is the gut check moment for any broker listening. The author asks a brutal question. If you were a brand new agent today, would you join your own brokerage?
Whoa, that hits hard.
Right? If there's a hesitation there, you've got work to do. It's about creating an environment where agents aren't just signing paperwork, they're entering a partnership.
That's the difference between recruiting bodies and recruiting partners.
And speaking of partners, indies have a luxury big brands often don't: selectivity. You don't need to hire everyone with a pulse.
Precisely. You can look for the builders. The article references Patrick Lencioni's ideal team player: hungry, humble, and smart.
I love that framework. If you recruit for those traits instead of just headcount, your culture stabilizes and turnover drops. You stop chasing people and start attracting the right ones.
Ultimately, it comes down to this: agents don't leave companies, they leave leaders.
Ain't that the truth? You can have the best tech stack in the world, but if your leader doesn't care about you, you're gone.
Big brands compete on scale. Indies win on experience. Every coaching session, every problem solved, that is your value proposition. You have to make them feel seen and supported.
So the verdict: it's a great time to be an indie.
Absolutely. There is room for the big guys, sure. But if you lead an indie, don't underestimate your power. You offer trust, agility, and a story agents can actually be part of.
So don't try to be a cruise ship if you're a speedboat. Embrace the agility. Thanks for listening, everyone.
See you next time.